Look at little Mew V Max and its alligator arms. This Pokemon is never paying for dinner, okay? It can't even reach its wallet. It can't even reach the top of its head to scratch itself. A brand new battle style is on the horizon. Pokemon Fusion are going to be included in our upcoming Pokemon trading card game set, Fusion Strike, due out November 12th. Japan's Fusion art set was just revealed, and it has 100 new cards, including some amazing Pokemon Fusion that I can't wait to show off in this video. So let's scope it out. We got brand new Chandelier V and Chandelier V Max cards on the horizon. Chandelier V has 200 hit points and is a fire-type Pokemon with 2 attacks. Its first attack, Confuse Ray. That's right, it confuses. And then Poltergeist. We know Poltergeist usually does more damage for the amount of trainer cards. This attack does 40 damage times the amount of trainer cards in your opponent's hand for a fire and a colorless. We did see how powerful Gengar and Mimikyu Tag Team GX was for the last year or so in standard format before it rotated, but that was largely due to its Horror House GX attack being able to trainer lock your opponent for a turn or just hand lock them for a turn. Can make these kinds of attacks do a lot more damage. Chandelier V Max has the ability Binding Heat. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any Pokemon tools from their hands. So not exactly trainer or item lock, but tool lock, right? Which helps to boost its max Poltergeist's attack damage, which does 70 damage times the number of trainer cards you find in your opponent's hand. So if your opponent just has 5 trainer cards in their hand, you're going to be doing a massive 350 damage with Chandelier V Max. Enough damage to one-hit KO any Pokemon V Max for just 5 trainer cards. But if you're playing a Chandelier deck, odds are your opponent is going to be hip to the fact that they should be playing their trainers out of their hand. So I think that Chandelier would have to be paired with something that keeps your opponent from playing trainer cards. I know that this is just a Heatmore, but this Heatmore reads an awful lot like a GX Pokemon. It's giving me serious Tag Bolt GX vibes. It's got its first attack, Fire Gathering, which does 20 damage, and you can attach a fire energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon, and then Elated Flame for 2 fire and a colorless does 90 damage, but wait, there's more. If this Pokemon has 3 extra energy attached, in addition to its attack cost, it does 180 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That's right. For just the low cost of 6 fire energy, you could do 90 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and 180 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Enough damage to knock out an Eldegoss V or a Crobat V or any support Pokemon, really. So a great little spread attack, but it does cost 6 energy. A new fire-type Oricorio just dropped. It's got the ability Fervent Lesson, which reads, as long as this Pokemon is in play, your Fusion Strike Pokemon take 20 less damage from your opponent's attacks. Can't apply more than 1 Fervent Lesson ability per turn. This seems like an incredible ability for Fusion Strike decks, right? I mean, imagine a Pokemon V Max that's Fusion Strike taking 20 less damage. That's every single attack that Pokemon takes is reduced by 20 over the course of a game. That can make a huge difference. And then its attack, Passionate Drop, places 5 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. And especially combined with Mew V Max, which I already know copies any attack from your Pokemon Fusion in play. I think that a card like Oricorio with a nice little 2 energy attack and an amazing ability could see play alongside Mew V Max. This Rapid Strike Starmie is super dope in Gym Leader Challenge format. Could also see some play in Standard. It's got a very strong attack, Rapid Fisted Star. You may discard any number of water energy from this Pokemon, and for each energy you discarded, you can choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and do 30 damage to it. So this attack is so good because it allows you to target a different Pokemon for each energy that you discard. So if you're discarding 6 energy from Rapid Strike Starmie, that means you get to place 180 damage wherever you want on your opponent's board, which is very strong. Reminds me a lot of Bronzong Break, that's true. But it's a stage 1 Pokemon and can use its attack for just a single water energy. Very strong in Gym Leader Challenge format, since there are plenty of ways to accelerate water energy onto your Rapid Strike Starmie, Blastoise, we've got Frostmoth, right? And then sacking all the water energy to wipe out targets on your opponent's board could be very strong. For Alligator, he's got 170 hit points, stage 2 Pokemon with the Berserk ability, which reads, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, flip a coin. If heads, discard the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. That's pretty good. But if tails, you're going to be discarding the top 5 cards of your deck. That's bad. So a very risky mill card. I mean, we've seen risky mill cards like this in the form of Toxicity, right? And we all know how well Toxicity worked out, right? With the risk taker attack, yeah, it didn't really work out great. So this is giving me big Toxicity vibes, but if you're feeling risky, you could play a deck with both for Alligator and Toxicity, and if you flip all heads the whole game, you're going to be decking your opponent out in no time. There's a new Huntail and Gorebyss in Fusion Arts. Huntail has the ability Single Strike Jammer, which reads, as long as this Pokemon's in play, your opponent's Single Strike Pokemon require 1 colorless more energy to use its attacks. That is a very strong effect. Having to pay an extra energy to attack is very difficult. I mean, we saw cards like Wondrous Labyrinth, Prism Star see play in decks that weren't even fairy-based, just to force the defending Pokemon to attach an additional energy in order to attack. So Huntail could be a very disruptive card against single strike decks. And then Gorebyss is a Fusion Strike Pokemon that has the ability Rapid Strike Canceller. That's right. Rapid Strike Pokemon are canceled. You heard it here. It has the ability that reads, as long as this Pokemon is in play, your opponent's Rapid Strike Pokemon have no abilities. So no more Quick Shooting from Inteleon. No more Rapid Strike Search from Octillery. All your Rapid Strike abilities are gone with this Gorebyss in play. Speaking of mill decks, Crebonable V has a mill attack for 1 water energy. Overturn, discards the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. We have seen cards like this, 2 prize Pokemon. Anybody who's been playing the game for a while knows Houndoom EX, right? Had the Melting Horn attack, which also discarded the top 2 cards. So this is giving me big Houndoom EX vibes, but the Crebonable also has an interesting attack. Fist of the Destroyer does 90 damage plus 60 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So if your opponent's active Pokemon has 3 damage counters on it, it's going to be doing 270 damage for just 3 energy, 4 damage counters on it, and then you're going to be doing 330 damage, which is enough damage to take a pretty crazy one-hit KO. So maybe Crebonable could be played with Rapid Strike and Inteleon. It does feel a lot like Sableye V. Maybe Sableye V is just a lower maintenance option of using Crebonable. I think that the best part about Crebonable V, the best part about Crebonable V is its overturn attack. That is an interesting mill attack, and to my knowledge, one of the only Pokemon with a 1 energy mill attack in standard format. So I think that if Crebonable V sees any play, it's going to be for that overturn attack. This Pukey Mucu is an incredible card, not only because it is done by one of my favorite Pokemon trading card game artists, Kamiya, but also because it makes your deck just 1 card less, right? It allows you to draw a card once during your turn. If Pukey Mucu is in your hand, you can put the Pukey Mucu on the bottom of your deck and just draw a card. You can't use more than 1 Pukey Mucu Fling ability during your turn, so you can only do it once, but being able to turn each of your level balls in your deck into an additional draw 1, I think is very powerful. A lot of decks are playing level ball to search out Drizzile and to search out Sobble. So why not include one copy of Pukey Mucu so that you can draw an extra card a couple times throughout the course of the game? Could be a strong option for decks that are already running level ball or even quick ball. Really just a ton of ways to search this thing out. Brand new Bolton V and Bolton V Max in Fusion Arts. Look at that handsome dog. Bolton V stocks are through the roof right now because no matter how good this Bolton V is, there's no way it's as good as the Bolton V from Rebel Clash. This Bolton V has 2 attacks. First attack for 1 lightning energy. Smash turn does 30 damage. And you may switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. And then Electro Bullet does 120 damage for 2 lightning and a colorless. And this attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Yeah, you got a pretty gnarly artwork there, Bolton V, but gonna have to say, yeah, the one from Rebel Clash is way better. Bolton V Max, on the other hand, is a really nice addition to the pool of playable lightning Pokemon. Bolton V Max has 320 hit points, the gold standard for Pokemon V Max everywhere. If you don't have at least 320 HP, you a lightweight. All right, Bolton V Max got 2 attacks. First attack, Lightning Storm for a lightning and a colorless, does 30 damage plus 30 more damage for each lightning energy attached to all of your Pokemon. We know this attack because Bolton has a very similar attack. The same attack name, actually, Bolt Storm. They're both Lightning Storm. All right, yeah, Bolt Storm. This attack does 30 more damage for each lightning energy attached to all your Pokemon. So it's just a juiced up version of Bolt Storm. The same attack, but instead of being 10 plus, it's 30 plus. So that damage is going to ramp just a little bit easier. And then its second attack, Max Bolt, just does 240 damage. Turns out the translation's wrong. Bolton V Max only does 230 damage. With the classic drawback, you know it, you love it. About 50% of cards that have powerful attacks have this drawback. This Pokemon can't use Max Bolt during your next turn. All right. So slightly better than not being able to attack at all. You just can't use Max Bolt. So you could Max Bolt for 240 as you're building up energy in play. And then the following turn, you can use Lightning Storm. And then you can Max Bolt again. So to contrast that with a card like Zacian V, whose Brave Blade attack makes it so it can't attack again the following turn, right? Means that you have to switch Zacian every single turn you want to attack consecutively. Bolton V Max does not necessarily have the same problem unless you want to be using Max Bolt turn after turn. I think that Bolton V Max is going to make it a possibility to play this kind of snowballing lightning style deck. You compare it with Flaffy with its Dynamotor ability, and then of course there's Bolton V with its Electrify attack, which can flood the board with lightning energy early on in the game. Bolton V Max is going to be competing head to head with cards like Shadow Rider Calyrex V Max, who has a similar attack, right? Its Max Geist attack does 10 plus 30 more damage for the amount of psychic energy in play. This is slightly more damage than Max Geist, but it doesn't have the insane Underworld Door ability. So I'm feeling like Bolton V Max and Shadow Rider Calyrex are occupying a similar amount of space. Bolton V Max is weak to fighting, but there are some very powerful psychic type Pokemon in this set that could decrease fighting type Pokemon's popularity, and fighting weakness has certainly not stopped any of the other powerful lightning type Pokemon that we're already seeing in standard format, like Jolteon V Max or Tapu Koko V Max. So I think that Bolton V Max really has a lot of potential and is certainly going to see play. Anytime I have ever underestimated Bolton V, I have been wrong so far. I really believe in this card. This card was great during the previous year, paired with Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX, and I think it's got a bright future alongside Bolton V Max. Fusion Strike Toxicity. X gon' give it to you. Pour one out for DMX. RIP. Toxicity is one of the coolest lightning type Pokemon from the Sword and Shield games, and he's got an amazing ability, Max Downer, which reads this ability only works if all of your Pokemon in play are fusion Pokemon. As long as this Pokemon is in play, the hit points of your opponent's Pokemon VMAX is 30 less, and it stacks. So bringing those Urshifu down to just 300 hit points is huge, but if you have 2 Fusion Strike Toxicity in play, then those Urshifu are only going to have 270 hit points. If you have 3, that's 240. If you have 4, that's 210, right? Quad Toxicity. That's probably more Toxicity than anybody's going to put in their deck realistically, but 1 or 2 could be crazy to really bring those Pokemon VMAX into range. It's all going to depend on whether or not the math of your deck requires that you bring those hit point totals down, but in a way, you could think of Toxicity as kind of boosting your Pokemon's attacks, because the only Pokemon that you need to do 300 damage to are Pokemon VMAX. So if your deck is doing somewhere in the ballpark of 270 damage, playing a couple Toxicity gets you to those big numbers that you wouldn't otherwise need to hit unless you're swinging in to a Pokemon VMAX. So I think this card has potential and could certainly see play in Fusion Strike decks. Gotta talk about my boy Miractus. Look at that beautiful Miractus art, just hanging out on a beach, big chillin', vibing the most, palm trees, looking like Miractus is living its best life. Miractus has 110 hit points and can peck for 20 damage. And it can also ditch and shake. It does 50 times damage, and you can discard any number of Pokemon tools from your hand. This attack does 50 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So if you discard 6 Pokemon tools, you're going to be doing 300 damage to the defending Pokemon. And then there is that Garbodor that can put tools back into the deck, okay? Trash Cyclone. You could play these bad boys together. I mean, you could. Will it work? Probably not. But hey, it's an idea, all right? Conceptually, it's there. You could Trash Cyclone to put the tools back into the deck, and then you could, Miractus and then Ditch and Shake and do a lot more damage. So anyways, a fun little combo we got there. Always love Miractus, so got to talk about Miractus a little bit. There's also a new Acelgor Fusion Strike Pokemon that has the Ninja Tornado attack for a grass and 2 colorless, does 120 damage. And if this Pokemon was on the bench and became your active Pokemon this turn, it can be used for just a single grass. So nice little 1 energy attack for 120 damage. Could be relevant in Gym Leader Challenge format, potentially as a nice low maintenance grass attack, but probably not going to see any play in Standard or Expanded. A new Virizion. Virizion, such an elegant Pokemon, 110 hit points, got the Bail Out attack. You can put up to 2 Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. Everybody loves a bailout. And then Solar Beam for grass and 2 colorless energy does 90 damage. So an interesting little Pokemon that doubles as a recovery card. Serena V has 200 hit points, and the Queen's Order attack for a grass and a colorless energy does 20 damage. Plus you can discard any number of your bench Pokemon, and the attack does 40 more damage for each bench Pokemon you discarded in this way. So if you discard 5 bench Pokemon, leaving yourself with just the Serena V in the active spot, you're going to be doing 220 damage. But if you are playing Expanded format and you have Skyfield in play, then you can discard 8. And 8 times 4 is 32, plus 20, 340 damage in Expanded formats with a full bench of 8 Pokemon getting discarded. So Serena, an interesting little, low maintenance attacker. Could eventually be comboed with some cards that are powerful when they get discarded from the bench. Maybe have it come into play style ability that brings them back from the discard pile. Something like that. Just a combo to keep in mind. Mew V and Mew V Max, the poster Pokemon of fusion arts. Look at little Mew V Max and its alligator arms. This Pokemon is never paying for dinner, okay? It can't even reach its wallet. It can't even reach the top of its head to scratch itself. No chance. This Mew is never footing the bill, all right? But it's pretty good, so we got to give it some respect. Mew V is a new fusion Pokemon with 2 attacks. Its first attack, Energy Mix, allows you to search your deck for 1 energy and attach it to one of your fusion Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Everybody loves some good old-fashioned energy acceleration. And then Psycho Jump for a psychic and a colorless energy does 70 damage, and you may shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck. A nice little hit and run. Maybe your Mew V has more damage on it than you would like. You can shuffle it back into your deck. It only has 180 hit points, so a little bit on the low end as far as Pokemon V are concerned, but who cares, because this thing evolves into Mew V Max, which has 310 hit points and 2 attacks. Its first attack, Cross Fusion, for 2 colorless energy, allows you to choose an attack on one of your bench fusion Pokemon and use it as this attack. This is an amazing toolbox style attack. We saw how successful Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX was over the course of the entire time it was legal. It even has a world championship title under its belt. Anything that reads even remotely like Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX is something that's got to make you take a second look, right? And this cross fusion attack can be used for just 2 colorless energy, meaning that you can copy even the most expensive fusion attacks for just 2 colorless energy. So a very strong toolbox style attack, and you can basically turn any of your fusion strike Pokemon into psychic type by swinging with Mew V Max. And hitting psychic type Pokemon for weakness is incredibly strong because you are going to be hitting the very popular Rapid Strike and even now Single Strike Urshifu V Max for weakness. But wait, there's more. Did I mention that Mew V Max has got free retreat? That's right, absolutely busted free retreat. Resist fighting by 30, and its max miracle attack for 2 psychic energy does 130 damage, and damage from this attack is not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, so no Decidueye concerns whatsoever. What about your Decidueye matchup? I get this question constantly. You're playing a VMAX deck. What do you do against Decidueye? I don't know. Lose, okay? But Mew VMAX never loses to Decidueye. Let's go. Broken card. I have very, very high hopes of Mew VMAX. This Deoxys can do it all. It's a Fusion Strike, Single Strike, and Rapid Strike Pokemon, meaning that it can use Fusion Strike, Single Strike, and Rapid Strike energy. You can search it out with Rapid Strike Search Octillery. You can accelerate to it with your Single Strike Roar Houndoom, and it could even go in your Fusion Strike deck. Look at all those arms. Of course, it's got 3 different battle styles. Has 1 attack, Photon Burst. For 3 colorless energy, it does 80 damage. Plus, if this Pokemon has a fusion energy attached to it, this attack does 80 more damage. We'll have to go see what fusion energy is, and I think it's here at the bottom of the page, so let's scope it out. Fusion energy is a special Fusion Strike energy, can only be attached to Fusion Strike Pokemon. Aye, aye, Captain. While in play, this card provides every type of energy. We've seen this kind of thing before. It's like a rainbow-style energy, right, for Fusion Pokemon. And its bonus effect is that the Pokemon this card is attached to isn't affected by abilities from your opponent's Pokemon. Take that, Rapid Strike Inteleon. Ha, no more quick shooting for you, bucko, while I've got my, Fusion Strike energy attached. A new Dragopol just dropped, and it is cute. I love it. Dragopol gets a lot of love from the Pokemon Company, so let's take a read here. Fusion Assault for 1 psychic energy does 30 damage times the number of fusion Pokemon you have in play. So if you have all 6 of your Pokemon in play as fusion Pokemon, then you're going to be doing 180 damage for just 1 psychic energy. But the Dragopol is a stage 2, going to be pretty difficult to get this thing into play. And then its second attack, Speed Attack, for a psychic and a colorless, does 120 damage. Dragopol, of course, got that nice, swift free retreat. Love to see it. A very, very cute Dragapult card with a beautiful artwork as well. Can't be a hater about that. It is really tough being Golem. Golem has never, ever, ever had a good Pokemon card. Not a single Golem in the history of the Pokemon TCG is good. And the fact that Golem basically got replaced by Colossal is even more embarrassing. I mean, how can you even wake up in the morning when Pokemon just went and printed a cooler version of you, and the first Colossal ever printed was better than any card that you have ever had? Imagine being Golem and trying to deal with this fact. This Golem has the ability Desperate Bomber, and now we know why Golem is so desperate. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, put 10 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. Take that, haters. All right? If you knock me out, at least I'm placing 10 damage counters on you. And then its attack, Double Edge, for a fighting and 2 colorless energy, does 160 damage. And then in typical Golem fashion, Golem does 30 damage to itself. Gym Leader Challenge fans, where you at? Gym Leader Challenge players often frustrated that they can't play their favorite Pokemon lines that involve multi-type Pokemon, right? Usually Onix is fighting type, Steelix is metal type. That's a no-fly zone in Gym Leader Challenge format, okay? Your deck's got to be mono type, no exceptions. Now we got a second fighting type, Steelix, on the roster for fighting type decks, and it's good. Steelix has 2 attacks. Its first attack, Power Rage, for 2 colorless energy, does 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon, and Steelix has a massive 190 hit points, making it very easy for those damage counters to stack up on Steelix, so it can strike back with a Power Rage attack. Also in Gym Leader Challenge format, there are cards that damage your own bench Pokemon, like Donphan from Vivid Voltage and Wish Cash from Rebel Clash. Anyways, the Steelix has got a lot of potential in Gym Leader Challenge format, and its Earthquake attack for 2 fighting and a colorless does 180 damage and 30 damage to each of your benched Pokemon. A very cool card, and I look forward to welcoming Steelix straight into Gym Leader Challenge format with open arms, because we all know this card's never going to see play in Standard. What do you call a single Phalanx? Is it a Phalink? What happens when Phalink gets separated from its Phalanx? Has anybody ever witnessed a single Phalink in isolation? What happens to it? And can it operate as a singleton? Are there 6 different brains in the Phalanx? Or does only the front one have a brain and the other ones are just like kind of psychically connected to the first one? I got a lot of questions. We all know that this Galarian Zigzagoon, I haven't even read it, but there's no way it's as good as the one from Sword and Shield base set, so we'll just pass. Then there's Galarian Linoon, 1 darkness energy for 30 damage, and a dope artwork. This one, you know, I could see it. Nice single retreat cost as well. 90 hit points, level ball, searchable baby. But this guy, all right, Gym Leader Challenge fans, where you at? This Galarian Obstagoon is dat boy in your Gym Leader Challenge deck. Now, if you're watching this video and you're like, I don't even know what Gym Leader Challenge is, head on over to gymleaderchallenge.com. We've got the format explained there. It's really simple. There are single type decks that you can only play one of each card in, and there are no VMAX Pokemon allowed, or GXs, or anything like that. Super fun format to play, and this card is fantastic in your Gym Leader Challenge deck. Its first attack, Shush, for 1 Darkness Energy, does 30 damage, and you get to choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks, and that Pokemon can't use that attack during opponent's next turn. So a nice little Amnesia-style attack for just 1 Darkness Energy. And then Merciless Strike for 1 Darkness Energy does 60 damage plus 90 more damage if your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it. So if you're able to place damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way, you're going to be doing 150 damage for just 1 Darkness Energy, which is great when you're really only comparing yourself to other single prize Pokemon. But when you're, up against Pokemon V Max, that's not going to cut it. But against other single prize Pokemon, this is a great card. Hoopa doopa doopa dee doo. Hoopa V is a new Fusion Strike Pokemon. This card is incredible. It's going to go great in your Eternatus V Max deck. Not only is it a Fusion Strike Pokemon, it's got a great ability, Double Face, which reads as long as this Pokemon is in play, it's both Psychic and Dark type, which means it can one-hit KO, Rapid Strike, Urshifu V Max. And the crowd goes wild. Whoa! Finally, there's a Pokemon you can put into your Eternatus V Max deck that easily disposes of those troublesome bears. They're pretty much, up until this point, has been no good way to patch up that horrendous matchup. But Hoopa V is here to save the day, and it's got the Shadow Impact attack for 2 Dark and a Colorless Energy. Does 170 damage. You have to place 3 damage counters on one of your Pokemon, but what do you care? Because you're knocking out Rapid Strike or Urshifu V Max. Whatever. Genesect V is an amazing new fusion Pokemon with the ability Fusion System that reads once during your turn before you attack, you may draw cards from your deck until the number of cards in your hand equals the number of fusion Pokemon you have in play. So, let me help you digest that. You can fill your hand to 6 if you have all fusion Pokemon in play and you have a full bench full of fusion Pokemon once during your turn. You can do that for each Genesect V that you have in play. So if you got 4 Genesect V in play, that means that you're going, boom, fill my hand to 6. Boom, fill my hand to 6 again. Boom, I'll fill my hand to 6 one more time. Boom, I'll do it a 4th time. So this is going to be a crazy draw engine for your Fusion Strike deck. This card is going to be absolutely gnarly, and it's got the attack Techno Blast. Get the rave party ready, because Darude Sandstorm is about to hit the speakers and the crowd is going to go wild. Techno Blast does 210 damage for 2 metal and a colorless energy. With the drawback, you know it, you love it. All the best Pokemon got this drawback. This Pokemon can attack during your next turn. All right, that's fine. We're used to this. It's like Brave Blade Jr., okay? It's like Brave Blade Light. We've seen other metal-type Pokemon that got this attack. This is nothing new. This is an incredible card. Not only does it draw you cards, it also can do 210 damage for just 2 metal and a colorless. Mew V Max can copy this attack for just 2 energy. That means your Mew V Max is going to be doing Techno Blast for just 2 energy. And since it has free retreat, the drawback of it not being able to attack during your next turn is negligible. This card is broken. Certified busted. This is going to be the backbone of every Fusion Strike Pokemon V focused deck, I think. Maybe even some of the single prize Fusion Strike Pokemon decks. This Genesect is easily going to be one of the strongest cards, I think, in the set. New Dragon type Pokemon. We've got a Fusion Strike Latios and a Fusion Strike Latias. Latias has the ability Red Assist. It reads once during your turn, you may use this ability, attach a psychic energy from your hand to one of your Latios in play. That's cute, you know, helping out. I read somewhere, somebody told me that Latios and Latias are brother and sister. Is that true? Are they siblings? Nothing like helping your brother out. That's amazing. You love to see it. Then what do you make of this card? And then Latios has got the ability Blue Assist. Once during your turn, you may use this ability, attach a psychic energy from your hand to one of your Latias in play. Busted. And then Latias has the attack Dyna Barrier, 70 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from Pokemon V Max. And then Latios has got the attack Luster Purge, 210 damage, discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. And I feel like this guy had the Buster Purge. All right, 240, discard 3. That's very similar, right? Luster Purge, 210, discard 2. That is a pretty hefty attack. And these guys, you know, they do accelerate energy into play, which is pretty dope. Goodra has loved slime even before it became a fad. Apparently also, like, kids love slime. They, like, make slime. Do they still do that? Is that still, like, is that still a fad? I think I heard. You know, I mean, I don't have children yet, so I kind of am disconnected from children's obsession with slime, but apparently that's a thing. Goodra, slimy slime. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, whenever your opponent attaches an energy from their hand to one of their Pokemon, they must flip a coin. If tails, that energy is discarded, baby. Okay, that is a nice disruptive ability. That can really mess things up, especially in Gym Leader Challenge format, right? Because there's not a lot of ways to turn off these abilities, and it also does 120 damage for 2 energy. So if your opponent flips some tails on attaching energy, that could really ruin their whole strategy. So I think in Gym Leader Challenge format, that is a nice card, potentially, for your Dragon-type deck. Speaking of Gym Leader Challenge format, Dunsparce is a colorless Pokemon with the ability Wonder Burrow. Each player's colorless Pokemon in play has no weakness. I mean, even in standard format, if you're playing a colorless type deck, that means your Pokemon V Max can have no weakness. And all you have to do is put this little Dunsparce on your bench. This is an incredible ability. I played this at the St. Louis Regionals in 2020, right, which turns off your colorless Pokemon's weakness. And this is just that ability, but on a basic. So yeah, this thing is gnarly. I think that this card, you can pair it with any of your colorless VMAX and just very easily turn off your own weakness. And since Dunsparce is not a rule box Pokemon, it doesn't even get turned off by Path to the Peak, which is super busted. Smeargle usually gets a lot of love. Usually got some pretty good Pokemon cards. It's got the attack Trash Sketch. That's what I do in the mornings here on stream when I attempt to draw. You choose up to 2 Fusion Strike trainer cards from your discard pile, show them to your opponent, and put them in your hand. There are some good Fusion Strike trainers that you could fetch with this Smeargle. And then Tail Whap for 3 colorless energy does 80 damage. Alright, Smeargle, you got like a little junk hunt for Fusion trainers. It's pretty busted. Everybody is talking about this new Greedent in the house. Greedent V Max. It's like the return of Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia GX. Kinda, sorta. Not really, actually, at all. But hey, it takes bonus prizes. Big Stocks does 30 damage. If your opponent's active basic Pokemon is knocked out by damage from his attack, take 2 more prize cards. So if you knock out a Pokemon V with the Big Stocks attack, you're taking 4 prizes. That's pretty gnarly. And its second attack is not even bad. For 3 colorless energy, it does 160 damage, max greed. And you get to draw 3 cards. So if you're swinging into a Pokemon V, you're probably going to be just short of the KO with max greed. You can pair Greedent with Inteleon, Rapid Strike, right? And kind of fix some math and then go in for a Big Stocks attack. This is a super greedy card. Will it be competitive? Probably not, but hilarious if you get it to work. And of course, it evolves from Greedent V, who's got 2 attacks. Body Slam for 2 colorless energy does 40 damage, and you get to flip a coin if heads. The defending Pokemon is now paralyzed, and Greedy Fangs for 3 colorless energy does 120 damage, and you get to draw 3 cards. We've got a bunch of cool new trainer and item cards from Fusion Arts as well. Cross Receiver is an item card that says you must play 2 Cross Receiver at the same time in order to play them, and you get to put a Pokemon or supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. That is a pretty cool recovery card. I mean, it's possible to pull off these combo plays, especially with the Intellion engine, which is already very possible right now. Is it going to be worth it to play 4 Cross Receiver in your deck just to get a Pokemon or a supporter card back from the discard pile? Probably not. But this guy, Cross Switcher, is a lot more interesting. You have to play 2 Cross Switcher at a time in order for the effect to work, but when you do, you get to switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon, and then you switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Guzma, anybody? Guzma was one of the strongest supporter cards ever printed. Not only is it a switch card, it's a Gus card. It's both of them in one. Guzma completely changed the game because it's a supporter card that provided both. But Cross Switcher, you have to play 2, right, in order for the effect to work, and there's no single card effect. Unlike Custom Catcher, some of you may remember, Custom Catcher got played for a while, it's from Lost Thunder, got played for a while before Boss's Orders was printed. This was one of our only Gust options that we had. So you pretty much had to play it, and Custom Catcher had a nice single play effect, allowing you to fill your hand to 3 cards if you played just 1 Custom Catcher at a time. Cross Switcher is just explicitly worse than Custom Catcher, I think, even though it gives you that added switch copy, even though it gives you that added switch effect in addition to gusting. This is going to exist in a format with Boss's Orders. So I don't really see this card as very good, but maybe I'm wrong. Battle VIP Pass is a new item card that you can only use on your first turn. You get to search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. Yo, what? Okay, so maybe Pokemon is addressing the new turn 1 rules, right? That don't allow you to play a supporter card. Maybe you could play some battle passes in your deck to get basic Pokemon out of your deck, but you can only play it on turn 1? It's like you don't want to play enough of this card that you're going to see it on the first turn of the game, because then it's a dead card in your deck for the rest of the game. So I think that this is a pretty bad card overall, because in order to see it turn 1, you got to play 4 of it, but if you play 4 of it, you're going to be seeing it when you don't want to later in the game. This card is bananas. Power Tablets is a new Fusion Strike item card that reads, during this turn, your Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. Hello, Electro Power. Oh, my old friend, you're back, and this time you look like some lifesavers. That is glorious. We all remember how good and broken Electro Power was. Electro Power was one of the strongest item cards printed during the Sun and Moon era, and now we've got delicious candy flavored Electro Power for your Fusion Strike Pokemon. Mew V Max is already looking to be one of the strongest new Pokemon out of this set, and now you've given it Power Tablets? Boosting your attack by 30 is busted. If you play 2 in the same turn, you can boost it by 60. If you play 3 in the same turn, you can boost it by 90. If you play 4 in the same turn, you can boost your Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks by 120 damage. I think the Power Tablets is very good, and we'll probably see a lot of play. I mean, it's just a burnable card that does more damage. What's not busted about that? The Grand Bell of Remembrance is a Pokemon tool card that says when the Pokemon V Max this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Now, kind of a situational card, because how many Pokemon V Max really get knocked out during a game? 2. And then you lose. So there's only one opportunity to use this card in a game, making it, I think, a bad card. Yeah, this card is not good because you can only afford to get one VMAX Pokemon knocked out. You're only going to be able to use it once during the game because the second Pokemon VMAX that gets knocked out, you've already lost. Moving on to the supporter cards. There are some really cool supporter cards in this set. Sydney is a new supporter that says your opponent reveals their hand, discard up to 2 in any combination of stadium cards, special energy, or Pokemon tool cards you find there. These kinds of supporter cards you got to keep your eye on. Being able to discard special energy out of your opponent's hand, very good for a control style deck. Also, discarding tool cards like Air Balloon and things like that can also be good. And discarding stadium cards. If you're playing a Path to the Peak deck and you want to win the Stadium War, being able to discard stadium cards out of your opponent's hand, also good. I mean, this is just a very versatile supporter. It can do 3 different things and discards 2 cards out of your opponent's hand. So I think that control players certainly got their eye on Sydney and can see the potential in it a lot better than I can. Elsa Sparkle appears to be the strongest supporter in Fusion Arts. It's a Fusion Strike supporter that allows you to choose up to 2 of your Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, and for each Pokemon you chose, you get to search your deck for a Fusion Energy and attach it to that Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. So this card just accelerates energy into play. And we already took a look at Fusion Strike Energy. It's a rainbow energy that also makes it so your opponent's Pokemon can't use their abilities to affect the Fusion Strike Pokemon it's attached to. So that means no quick shooting Inteleon is going to be damaging your Mew V Max, which is amazing. I think Elsa Sparkle is really good. It kind of gives me some Colress Machine vibes. I don't know if any of you have been playing the game long enough to remember Colress Machine. Colress Machine was an item card that allows you to search your deck for a Plasma Energy and attach it to one of your Team Plasma Pokemon. This is like a double Colress Machine, but in supporter form. This is just insane. Every single energy attachment in the Pokemon TCG is huge right now. This is built-in energy acceleration for your Fusion Strike deck. The only question is there going to be any eventual recovery for your Fusion Strike energy? Because if you draw into your Fusion Strike energy, then you can't use Elsa Sparkle to accelerate them into play. And if you discarded your Fusion Strike energy, then Elsa Sparkle becomes less good. So I think a couple of Elsa Sparkle in a Fusion Strike deck just makes sense, right? Maybe 2 of them. But as it is, you wouldn't probably run 4 Elsa Sparkle because you're not going to be able to use the 3rd or 4th copy, maybe not even the 2nd copy, because you may have prized a Fusion Energy or something like that. So a strong supporter card with limited playability right now because of the lack of recovery for Fusion Strike Energy, but maybe we see some other kind of recovery get printed in the sets to come. Dancer's a new supporter card that allows you to draw 2 cards, and if it's your first turn going second, you get to draw 3 more cards. Is it worth it? No. Chili, Silent, and Cress is a new Fusion Strike supporter. I'm not going to lie, I've never heard of these other 2 goons here, but me and Silan, we go way back. Oh, Silan, back in the day, a mere 9 years ago, you used to search me out 3 basic energy from my deck and put them into my hand. This was fantastic. In my Blastoise deck, I could get the lightning energy and both water energy that I needed to Black Ballista with my Black Kyurem EX. I could use Jirachi EX to search you out of the deck. Man, we used to win games together, Silent. Now, who are these other 2 people you're here with? Chili and Cress Search your deck for up to 3 Fusion Strike Pokemon, reel them, and put them into your hand. That's a pretty cool effect. Too bad you can't play it on the first turn going first. That's really going to hold this card back. It's a good card, nice for setting up your Fusion Strike deck, but you can only play it, you know, on the first turn of the game going second, or turn 2 or 3 moving forward. So it has limited accessibility in the beginning of the game when you would want to play it most. But this card could be very good in your Fusion Strike deck. You can go search out 3 Genesect and start drawing cards. So that's certainly not bad. Sometimes I just feel so loved by the Pokemon Company every time they print a card that has a skateboarding reference on it. I love it. This new stadium card, Skate Park. Can we please get a nice gold one? Just a nice full art gold one. Please. Please. A gold version. I would love that. It reads, whenever a player's active Pokemon retreats, that player puts any basic energy used to pay the retreat cost into their hand instead of the discard pile. It's an interesting supporter card. It's an interesting stadium card. I think it's explicitly worse than a card like Training Court. Training Court just gets you a basic energy back from the discard pile every turn. This is a more situational energy recovery card. I think that if you want that kind of energy recovery from your discard pile, just play Training Court instead because it's a better card. Single Strike Gengar V Max and Rapid Strike Inteleon V Max look as if they might be in our upcoming Fusion Strike set. So we're going to take a look at the cards here. Gengar V is a Dark-type Pokemon with 210 hit points. Can I just say, I love Gengar cast as a Dark-type Pokemon. I think this is glorious. This is a beautiful card. Gengar V has 2 attacks. Dark Slumber for 2 Darkness Energy does 40 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. And then Pain Burst for 3 Darkness Energy does 190 damage, and this Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. That's all well and good, but Gengar V Max is what we're really here to talk about. All right, Gengar V Max is the absolute gnar. It has 320 hit points, and being a single strike Pokemon means that you can use Houndoom's single strike roar to accelerate energy onto it. You can also use single strike energy to boost its attack damage output. For 2 darkness energy, Gengar V Max knows the Panic Fear attack, does 60 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon V and Pokemon GX in play. That's hilarious because there are no Pokemon GX in standard format anymore, but that is very interesting, right? Why doesn't it just say for each of your opponent's Pokemon with a rule box in play? I don't know. Anyways, it does 60 damage times the amount of Pokemon V your opponent has in play. So against Eternatus V Max, you're going to be doing 1,000,000 damage. But against most other decks, say a deck that only plays 2 Pokemon V at a time, you're going to be doing a nice 120 damage. If your opponent has 3 Pokemon V in play, then you're going to be doing 180 damage for just 2 energy. And then its second attack, Max Engulf for 3 Darkness Energy, does 250 damage, and this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Now, Gengar V Max is weak to fighting. Urshifu decks, very popular, but Gengar V Max, pretty gnarly. It does definitely do a ton of damage to decks like Eternatus V Max. And then Rapid Strike Inteleon V and Rapid Strike Inteleon V Max. Inteleon V has got 2 attacks. Surf for a water and a colorless does 40 damage, and then Aqua Bullet for 2 water and a colorless does 120 damage and 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Let's skip straight to the V Max because that's the only one that really matters. 320 HP. Rapid Strike Pokemon with the ability Double Shooter. Once during your turn, you may discard a water energy from your hand. If you do, put 2 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Holy smokes. That is very good. We already have the Rapid Strike Inteleon with the quick shooting ability, which places damage counters on your opponent's bench, and this places 20 more damage on your opponent's bench, and it's got an attack. G-Max Whirlpool for a water and a colorless does 70 damage, plus you may put an energy attached to this Pokemon back into your hand. If you do, does 70 more damage, so 140 damage for just 2 energy. This Inteleon V Max is very good. You can use that G-Max Whirlpool attack for just 1 energy attachment with Rapid Strike Energy. and its double shooter ability. I mean, if you had any hopes of getting any sort of small Pokemon with a low amount of HP set up and established in play, Inteleon is here to tell you absolutely not. You will not be setting up any of your little critters, okay? No chance. Quick shooting and double shooter, pew, pew, pew. Yeah, and they're gone. And then the supporter Adventurer's Discovery might end up being in our set, I don't know, but we'll read it. You get to search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon V, reveal them, and put them into your hand. That is very similar to the Cylon and his 2 brothers that I'd never heard of thing. It just gets you 3 Pokemon V. So that's interesting. Could get you Pokemon V Max, anything like that. Nice setup card. All right. That about does it for our set review. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, all right? At this pace we're going at, it's going to take me years. I'm going to be old and gray by the time we hit 100,000 subs. I ain't got time for that, okay? If you're watching, if you like the stuff, then go ahead and slap the subscribe button. That would be most excellent. Also, hit me with a good old thumbs up. It's like somewhere down here. And y'all take it easy and have a most busted day. Peace.